Natale, and Councilor Donnelly. Also present, Councilor Boschman, Councilor Clark. We will start with 24716, in order that there be and hereby is appropriated $135,000, same to be credited to police capital, departmental equipment, and charged against available funds. Chief Martineau.
Good evening, Councilor. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening, specifically on loan order number 247-16. Fitchburg Police Department's looking to replace 3 of their frontline cruisers, car 1, 2, and 3. Each of those cars are just about ready to get out of warranty. We've been successful trying to replace our frontline cruisers just before they leave the warranty stage. In doing so, we've saved significant amount of money in maintenance costs. So this year, we're looking to replace, like I said, car 1, 2, and 3. The total cost for 3 cars is $135,000, and we look for your support on that order.
Councilor Joseph.
It's good to see that we're replacing cars before they run out of warranty instead of before the wheels fall off. So I'm glad to see that we're a little more proactive in the way we're doing
I have to give
things.
credit to my predecessor, Deputy Chief Kearns.
Yeah.
This is something he started about 7 years ago. We started purchasing extended warranties. We pay about $3,000 for an extended warranty, but we're trying to keep our frontline car, which consists of 7 cars, all within that 100,000-mile warranty. And like I said, we're saving significant money on major repairs as long as we can keep our front line at that 100,000 mark. And once it reaches that mark, we replace them to our second line fleet. So we have 7 front line and 7 back line cars.
Okay.
Councilor Donnelly.
Significant improvement. I remember years ago they borrowed money on a 5-year loan when they bought DPW trucks and heavy equipment. The cars were going to be worn out before the loan was paid off, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve 247-16. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. 248-16, in order that the City of Fitchburg hereby accepts the gift of $5,000 from Digital Federal Credit Union for the purpose of supporting the efforts with disadvantaged youth in Fitchburg.
First of all, I'd like the opportunity to publicly thank Digital Credit Union for this generous donation. I'd like to take the opportunity to read the letter they submitted to the police department. It's dated September 30th. On behalf of the Digital Federal Credit Union, I am pleased to provide the Fitchburg Police Department / Junior Police Academy with the enclosed check of $5,000. This donation represents DCU's support of organizational efforts in providing programs such as the Junior Police Academy that makes a difference. As a socially responsible organization, DCU is committed to partnering with other organizations such as yours that make a difference in the communities that we serve. The purpose of this donation is to give back to our community by supporting programs offered by your organization. The donation is not a sponsorship or an opportunity for DCU to market our credit union, only we like to contribute to make a difference to the people you serve in our community. And it goes on to say thank you for all that you do. This $5,000, we have an account set up. It's for at-risk youth. It's an account where all donations come in. It was an offshoot of the DARE program from many years ago. With this money, we do stuff as supporting the Junior Police Academy, in addition through the Shannon Grant. Recently, we took a group of junior high school students to the Boston Celtics game. Everything we do with this money goes back to our community and is slated especially for our youth in our community. And I would ask that the committee approve this.
I think I speak for everybody in thanking DCU for their generous donation to the City of Fitchburg and the police and its youth.
Motion
Make
to
a motion
approve.
to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve 248-16. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Last but not least, 250-16, in order that the City of Fitchburg hereby approves the expenditure of funds from the Federal Executive Office of Public Safety and Security for the FY17 VAWA STOP grant in the approximate amount of $51,491.25 for the purposes of said grant. Chief.
The VAWA STOP grant, this is a federal grant. We operate on a federal cycle from October to October. This is year 3 of a 3-year grant. This was an extremely competitive grant that the police department applied for 3 years ago. We're in year 3 of it. This year, we received $51,491.25. That includes all of our domestic violent advocate salary, plus some of our fringe benefits. We were very fortunate to get a little bit more this year to go towards fringe benefits. I'm proud to say that we were only one of 12 communities in the state of Massachusetts that was awarded this grant under VAWA. VAWA is Violence Against Women Act. It was extremely competitive, and we've been very fortunate for the last 3 years to pick up Ms. Dondero's salary through this grant. She's a tremendous asset to the police department, where we're providing one-on-one services with victims of domestic violence. And recently we've partnered up with Fitchburg State University, where we're actually offshooting her services up into the college community as well. So I look forward to this as year 3. We're already planning on reapplying next year. There's no guarantees that we're going to get this grant next year, but I think that we've put together some competitive grants in the past, and it's my hopes that we can continue. But for this year, for the federal fiscal year, we've been awarded above and beyond her salary.
Councilor Joseph?
So how does this correspond to the city's budget? When will this cover her from?
It covers, it's unique where our fiscal budget starts in July. So we've always had that little bit of overlap period of a few months, and we've been able to absorb that in the past, and we did it once again this year. And now that once this is approved, then this comes available to us, and it starts offsetting the cost at that point.
So this is covering our current fiscal year,
Plus,
plus 3
Into
months.
September,
into September.
next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Beyond our fiscal year, it will cover.
So do we see this in the budget as an appropriation in case it doesn't happen, since it's only budgeted till September? Will we see it in the spring for next year?
It may be based on the estimate at the time of our probability of getting that grant. If it's uncertain, we may show only the 3 months, and then
Exactly.
it could be subject to the indication. I think you had an idea last spring.
The previous year, we only received 40. First of all, it was a 3-year grant
Right.
put on by the federal government. This is year 3 of it. Last year, we only received $49,000. This year, we received a little bit more. Next year, we just don't know. We're going to start the grant application sometime in the spring. Like I said, once again, we're going to put together a very strong grant application, and it's my hopes and aspirations that we can receive this grant again. But the city's been very fortunate for the last 3 years, where our domestic violence program has cost us basically nothing, and we've been able to provide a great service to our community.
I guess I'd just like to make sure that we show this in the budget somehow, so that the city shows its commitment in case it doesn't come through.
I believe we saw it last year. It's the same. It's the same theory as what you see with our dispatch.
It's in
the 911 grant, where it shows a minus on our 911 grant
Right.
because we received like $115,000
Yeah.
for 911 salaries, and I'm almost positive.
No,
Counselor, that's how it's
Yeah,
shown.
but I'm just, what I'm saying is, because the 3 years is over, I would hope that the city's going to show a commitment to it, just in case the
Well,
grant doesn't come through.
I couldn't agree with you more. Next year, as I start to prepare my budget for next season, obviously, we're going to put her salary in anticipation that we don't get anything.
Right.
Because it's that important of a position. And then if we are fortunate enough to receive an award, then it gets zeroed out.
Okay.
So the government's fiscal year does not start till October.
It's a
So,
yes.
so we would have in the budget next year, 1/4 of her salary covered by the grant, and then the other 3/4 would be covered by us, pending what happens with the grant award. Do we have any idea when that award happens? Or since it's been so long ago, I mean, I'm assuming with their fiscal year starting in October, would we know before September if we got the grant or not?
It's pushing it this year. I mean, we were on edge this year. We didn't receive an award notice till September. The years previous, they were in August. Because we weren't sure if we were going up or down. You know, we were thrilled that we went up.
Did we used to fund that position through CDBG?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
a
Okay,
great
so
memory.
I recall this position, I think, has, at least for the last decade, has always been funded through a grant
Portion of
source.
It was a 50-50 split
Okay.
with CBDG.
Okay.
And the city picked up half of her salary, and And then for the last 5 years, we've been fortunate enough to get all
Yep.
federal funding.
Okay. So we just have to make sure in next year's budget that there's coverage, but that is entirely up to the mayor and his submission to us to make sure that that position stays funded. Kind of hard pressed not to, considering we get first 3 months. And, you know, that's why I get sketchy with grants, because, you know, if they give us that money, we get reliant on not relying on that money. We get dependent on it, and then they can just snap their fingers when and say, that's it, you're done, and then we got to pick up the rest. So we just got to be prepared for that. So there is the potential, salary you said was $49,000?
49.
So there's the potential of, quarter of that is, 13,000, 12,000 maybe. So that's about 37,000 that we would have to commit next year if we don't get an award beyond this one that runs out.
Exactly.
Any other questions? Council Boschman.
On the CBG fund, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 67,000. We were arguing about what we're going to do with the cut, because he came in, he said we didn't need as much money. I think he went down to 50,000 that 1 year.
Council, that was for foot patrols. There's separate line items in CDBG. There's foot
Oh, yeah.
patrols for drug enforcement, and then there's the domestic violence advocate was a separate item in the CDBG package, totally separate from that.
Oh, okay. Now, the other question, has the violence against women gone down in the city of Pittsburgh?
You'd have to be more specific. Exactly what do you mean by violent, crimes?
Well, yeah, beating up the ladies, or, you know what I mean, where they have to go into a shelter because they get abused and they're being physically beaten up and that.
She's very busy at what she does. I don't have exactly her caseload. Last year, our domestic violence statistics stayed pretty current to where they were in the previous couple of years. What she does do is she provides one-on-one services with some of our most vulnerable victims, women that have been abused. I'm not prepared to give you a statistic whether we're up and down on domestic violence this evening, but I can tell you she's very busy at what she does and very valuable.
All right.
Her caseload is, I highlighted in the annual report that the police pull out, and it's substantial. So,
I want to say she has 400 to 500 cases a year.
right, it's in the hundreds for one person.
Yeah, she's a busy woman.
So,
I wish she wasn't as busy, because
Yeah.
that means that we have a lot of vulnerable victims out there.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
motion made and seconded to approve 25016. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous.
Thank you, councilors.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, councilors.